Loneliness as a divine direction. The story of Sophia. Have you ever noticed that people rarely leave your life all at once? It's rarely a dramatic exit, marked by an emotional crescendo or a stormy argument. More often, they leave slowly, almost imperceptibly, as if testing the elasticity of your heart. One by one, the people you once counted on, the ones whose presence formed the soundtrack of your days, begin to drift away. At first, it is subtle. Someone is late to a gathering or a call goes unanswered. But in time, you notice a silence that has gradually crept in, a quiet so complete that it almost feels unnatural. You might find yourself asking God in the depth of your solitude, why am I still here when everyone else has moved on? It is this question, this aching curiosity about purpose and belonging, that forms the heartbeat of Sophia's story. A story of emptiness, patience, and divine redirection. Sophia's life began in a simple home on the outskirts of a bustling town. Her dwelling was modest yet filled with warmth. The walls echoed with laughter, debates, and the rhythm of daily life. Her mornings were never quiet. Her husband's footsteps heralded the start of a new day as he prepared for work, while the aroma of breakfast mingled with the chatter of her young son, whose mind brimmed with dreams of the future. Togetherness was Sophia's greatest desire. She did not crave wealth, luxury, or social recognition. She prayed each day for the simple blessing of unity, a family gathered around one table, voices entwined in conversation and song, prayers rising together in harmony. For Sophia, a full home was a blessed home, and she cherished each moment, both ordinary and extraordinary, as a sacred gift. As years passed, life unfolded as it always does, in its unrelenting mixture of joy and loss. The first sign of change came with her son's acceptance into a prestigious university in a distant city. Sophia's heart was torn in two, the pride of seeing her child achieve and the sorrow of imminent separation. She meticulously packed his belongings, ensuring that even the smallest item was handled with care. She offered advice, even though she knew he had already heard it countless times. She stood at the threshold of their home until he disappeared from view, feeling the quiet seep into the corners of the house where once latter had resided. At first, calls came frequently, brimming with news and questions, but over time they grew sporadic, then occasional. Sophia reminded herself that this was natural. Children grow, mothers wait, and life presses forward, indifferent to our reluctance to let go. A few years later, another layer of solitude fell upon her. Her husband, once vigorous and lively, began to falter under the invisible weight of age and illness. There was no sudden tragedy, no dramatic turn of fate, only a gradual weakening that transformed their bustling home into a place of gentle routine and tender care. Sophia tended to him with unwavering devotion. She prepared meals, cleaned, and prayed beside him, finding solace in the constancy of small acts. One quiet morning, he did not wake. There was no chaos, no frantic urgency, only the stillness of absence. The house remained intact, but one chair always has remained empty forever. Friends and relatives came and went, offering condolences and kind words, but their presence was fleeting, and life returned to normal for everyone except Sophia. She learned to make tea for one, to eat in silence, to navigate nights that felt louder than the day itself. And yet, she did not question God in anger or despair. Instead, she whispered a quiet plea, "Why am I still needed?" The years passed. Her son, now a grown man, returned to visit her. He spoke of his new life, his marriage into a wealthy family, and the comfort he now enjoyed. He assured her, "Mama, I will send you money. You don't need to worry anymore." Sophia smiled, though something inside her constricted. She understood then that her centrality in his life had shifted. She was remembered, respected, and honored, but no longer required. For a long time, she existed in a kind of liminal space, present yet unoccupied, engaged yet unseen. She was not broken, only unused, her hands, her heart, her talents waiting for purpose. Then, one day, a call came. Her son invited her to live with him in the city. Sophia prayed at length before answering, seeking guidance, clarity, and courage. Her heart was heavy with the anticipation of change, yet she felt a quiet prompting, a sense that God's hand was directing her steps. She packed her belongings, leaving behind the house where her life had slowly emptied, where memories lingered in every corner, and where silence had become a familiar companion. The city greeted her with its chaos, noise, and endless movement. Her son's home was grand, with spacious rooms, modern furnishings, and staff attending to every need. Yet Sophia felt smaller than ever, a quiet presence in a house designed for activity, efficiency, and service without contribution. Days passed in quiet observation. Sophia found herself watching the world from the corners of the rooms, noting the rhythms of a life that no longer required her engagement. She had expected companionship, perhaps a renewed sense of purpose, yet she discovered instead an unsettling emptiness. One night, she whispered to God, "Please do not let me live without purpose. Do not let my hands be idle when they were made to serve." The prayer was simple, heartfelt, and filled with longing for significance. It was soon answered, though not in the way she anticipated. Her son took her to a women's shelter on the outskirts of the city. The place was humble, far from beautiful, its walls bearing the marks of hardship, its floors worn by countless footsteps. Inside, however, Sophia found life, not the bustling, orderly life of her son's household, but a raw, human life, alive with stories of struggle, lost resilience, and hope. Women, once forgotten, now clung to each other in quiet solidarity. Their eyes, wary yet searching, met hers with recognition. Sophia said nothing, only observed, taking in the weight of their experiences, the depth of their need. As she prepared to leave, an old woman reached out and grasped her hand with surprising strength. "You feel like someone who listens," she said. That simple acknowledgement, tender and profound, reverberated through Sophia's heart. That night, she could not sleep. She realized that her longing for purpose could find fulfillment in the lives of others. A few days later, the shelter called, inviting her to return. She agreed, unsure of what exactly she would do, only certain that her presence was desired. One day became two, two became many. Sophia began to serve in small yet meaningful ways. She cooked simple meals, listened to long stories of sorrow and hope, prayed beside women who had no one else left. They began to call her Amy Sophia, a name imbued with respect, affection, and trust. Slowly, Sophia's heart, once heavy with solitude, brimmed with quiet joy. She understood then that God had not made her lonely to punish her. Rather, he had created a space within her, a capacity for compassion and service that could be filled only by the lives of others. Her emptiness had been preparation, her waiting a divine direction. The story of Sophia teaches us that loneliness is not always loss. Sometimes it is guidance, a quiet hand leading us to where we are most needed. When her son visited the shelter and saw her surrounded by women who revered and relied upon her, he finally understood. His mother was no longer waiting to be needed. She was essential, central, vital to lives she had never imagined touching. In that moment, both mother and son recognized a deeper truth. God does not remove people or situations from our lives arbitrarily. He orchestrates, guides, and prepares us for new chapters where our hearts can be fully realized. If you feel alone today, remember Sophia. Do not rush to escape the silence or fill the void with distractions. Sometimes, solitude is a preparation ground, a quiet workshop where God equips you for a purpose greater than the familiar roles you once held. Every act of service, every word of kindness, every patient moment of listening transforms emptiness into fulfillment. Trust in the timing and trust that your presence in the world is more vital than you can yet see. When the moment comes, you will understand and your heart will recognize the profound truth that your waiting was never in vain. Loneliness is not always a curse. It can be a compass, guiding us to places we could not find on our own. The hearts we touch, the lives we nurture, and the love we share become the legacy of our existence. Sophia's journey reminds us that God's plans are often quiet, invisible, and slow, but always purposeful. When he makes you lonely, it is not to punish you or diminish your worth. It is to prepare you to become a home for others, a source of light in lives shadowed by despair, and a vessel of hope where none had existed. The next time you feel the absence of those you love, pause, reflect, pray. Consider the possibility that your solitude is a doorway leading you to a space where your heart, your hands, and your presence are indispensable. Share this story with someone who needs it today, and remember the purpose of your life is never truly lost. It is only waiting for the right time to reveal itself.